This was definitely the most absurd R-rated horror movie of the year. It was like a collection of the weirdest ways humans could die. Some people even said it was like an upgraded version of Final Destination. The story began in 1999. A man named P.D. Shelburne walked into an antique shop, covered in blood, holding the murder weapon. But it wasn't a knife or a gun. It was an innocent-looking toy monkey. He claimed the monkey was a demon. Every time its drumstick fell, someone would die. But the shop owner didn't believe him and just said, "No returns on children's toys." Right after he said that, the monkey's drumsticks fell. Petey immediately stepped back. He knew someone was about to die again. Sure enough, the next second, a harpoon shot out and pierced the shop owner's stomach. It looked like a freak accident, but everything was scarily precise. Petey realized the monkey's curse had struck again. He knew returning it wouldn't solve anything, so he grabbed a flamethrower from the shop and turned all his fear and hatred into fire. The monkey's face melted under the heat, looking even more creepy and twisted. But Petey didn't know. For the monkey, this wasn't destruction. It was rebirth through fire. After that day, Petey disappeared. But his son Hal inherited the cursed monkey. Of course, Hal wasn't the only one affected. He had a twin brother named Bill. One day, Hal and Bill were going through their dad's old stuff. They found a strange box. Inside was the same monkey that their father tried to destroy. Bill quickly grabbed it out of curiosity. Hal warned him not to touch it, but Bill always looked down on Hal for being too careful and timid, so he didn't listen at all. Bill even twisted the monkey's wind-up key, but the monkey didn't do anything at first. It just raised its drumsticks without bringing them down. Bill thought it was just a broken toy, so he tossed it to Hal with disgust. He thought Hal was only good enough for broken toys. Hal didn't dare to fight back because Bill had been bullying him since they were little. His anger only came out in his dreams, like smashing Bill's head with a bowling ball. The next day, their babysitter Annie took them to eat Japanese food. As Hal opened the car door, he saw the monkey. Even though it was supposed to be at home, he thought Bill had put it in the car. Soon, they arrived at a hibachi restaurant. The chef thought Annie was pretty, so he tried to impress her. He even made a heart-shaped fried rice. It was supposed to be a warm and cheerful moment, but for some reason, Hal felt something was wrong. He didn't know the monkey had moved from the back seat to the front seat, and now, the drumsticks that didn't fall last night struck at this moment, and as the final beat echoed and stopped, the chef's hand slipped and accidentally sliced Annie's neck. That was the monkey's first kill since its rebirth. Annie's death was so bizarre, Bill, who had always received her extra care, couldn't handle it. But Hal stayed calm and started to think deeply. Could it have something to do with that monkey? After all, Bill hated it. He wouldn't have put it in the car. Maybe the monkey moved by itself? Seeing both kids acting so strange, their mom Lois tried to comfort them. She said, "Everyone dies eventually. That's life." Hal still couldn't change his timid and cowardly nature. He often got bullied by kids that Bill sent after him. Hal didn't understand why Bill always targeted him, which made him hate his brother deeply. One day, Hal came home covered in banana mush after getting jumped by some bullies. He was so mad he almost lost his mind. When Hal opened his bedroom door, he saw the monkey sitting right on his bed. He didn't even have time to think about how it got there again. At that moment, Hal only wanted revenge on Bill, so Hal made a wish to the monkey. "If you could kill Annie, can you help me kill Bill too?" Then he twisted the wind-up key. The monkey raised its drumsticks high and began its deadly music. Only then did Hal start to regret it. After all, Bill was still his big brother. That's when Bill walked into the house, safe and totally fine. But their mom, Lois, suddenly dropped dead on the spot. That's when Hal realized the monkey didn't kill by logic. It killed randomly. The doctor said she died from a rare condition called a boomerang aneurysm, but the odds of that happening were 1 in 44 million. Hal knew it was his fault. He had caused their mother's death. From that day on, he finally realized how terrifying the monkey was. He had to destroy it immediately, but something weird happened. When he chopped down, blood came out of its arm. Hal didn't have time to freak out. He chopped it up like vegetables, threw the pieces into the garbage truck, and then moved with Aunt Ida and Uncle Chip to Casco, Maine. He thought that would be the end of it, but somehow, the monkey showed up again at Aunt Ida's house. Hal was out of options. Even though he hated Bill, he was the only person Hal could talk to about it. So he told Bill the truth, that the monkey could kill people. But Bill didn't believe him. He insisted on winding it up just to see. The next day, Uncle Chip was trampled to death in a horse stampede. After the monkey claimed its third victim, Bill finally stopped arguing with Hal. If they couldn't destroy it, maybe they could seal it away. So they tied the monkey up, locked it in a box, and threw it down a dry well, and it actually worked. The next 25 years passed without any incidents. Hal built a successful life for himself. He cut ties with Bill, so Bill could never bully him again. Just when Hal thought the monkey was gone forever, disaster struck again. Late one night, old Aunt Ida was woken by strange music. She grabbed a gun and went to check, but she accidentally stepped on a broken stair. At the bottom of the stairs was a box full of old fishing hooks. Aunt Ida fell face first into them. Before she could even pull the hooks out, she smelled gas in the air. She leaned toward the stove to sniff more carefully. Suddenly, the stove burst into flames. Screaming, Aunt Ida ran toward the door, but she stepped on a flower vase by the entrance. In a panic, she tripped and ran straight into a metal road sign. Meanwhile, Hal, still unaware of what happened, was planning a road trip with his son Petey. But the night before the trip, he had a terrifying nightmare. He dreamed he was lying on a cutting board, and the monkey stood over him, raising an axe high above its head, just like Hal had done when he chopped it up years ago. Hal jolted awake in an instant. Right at that moment, his phone rang from an unknown number. It turned out to be Bill, the brother he hadn't spoken to in over a decade. To avoid waking Petey, Hal stepped outside to take the call. Bill told Hal that Aunt Ida had died, and he suspected her death was connected to the monkey. He asked Hal to go back and investigate. Clearly, Bill also knew how dangerous the monkey was, and didn't dare show up himself. But Hal wasn't the timid pushover he used to be. He firmly refused Bill's request. But just then, something unexpected happened. The outdoor AC unit, still connected to power, suddenly malfunctioned and fell straight in front of Hal. Electricity immediately surged into the nearby pool. At that exact moment, a woman by the poolside was about to jump in. Hal shouted to stop her, but he was 1 second too late. Back in the hotel room, Hal couldn't calm down for a long time. Maybe the monkey really was coming back. So, Hal hit the road that night, driving straight to the small town where Aunt Ida had lived. The realtor, Barbara, let Hal inside and chatted with him about the strange things happening in town lately. People were dying every day, and in the weirdest ways. Mitch McDonald got their heads chopped off by lawnmowers. Bert Bergerson was burned to death by steam. Nancy Risoli was bitten by a cobra. The death toll was rising fast. Hal instantly knew something was wrong. This had to be the monkey's work. He asked Barbara if she had seen a toy monkey in the house. Barbara said she hadn't, but offered to help Hal look around. There could be some places they missed, but when she opened the door to the storage room, a loaded shotgun tipped over and fired. Barbara died on the spot, another freak accident. Hal was splattered with blood, but he wasn't as terrified as before, because he knew fear wouldn't help anymore. The police arrived quickly. Even though it looked like an accident, they asked Hal to stay in town to cooperate with the investigation. Since he was the only one alone with Barbara at the time, Hal reluctantly agreed. But right after the police left, the old landline in Aunt Ida's house rang. Hal picked it up, and once again, it was Bill. Hal told him truthfully that he hadn't found the monkey, but something didn't sit right. Why would Bill call Aunt Ida's landline? Did Bill somehow know Hal was in town? But Hal had clearly refused him earlier. There was only one possibility. Bill had been watching him the whole time. When Hal asked where he was, Bill hung up immediately. Since the landline had no redial button, Hal looked through the phone book trying to find Bill's name, but one entry caught his eye. Someone listed as Mrs. Monkey. Hal instantly felt uneasy. He dialed the number. A familiar voice answered. It was Bill's, but it was just a voicemail. In the message, Bill said he had already found the monkey and told the caller not to call again. A chill ran down Hal's spine. So Bill had been behind all of this the whole time. He had staged everything himself. All the strange deaths in town happened because Bill kept winding up the monkey. Hal was just about to call Bill and confront him when a police officer suddenly showed up at the door. But the man wasn't a real cop. He was actually someone named Ricky, pretending to be an officer. As soon as Ricky came in, he pulled out a gun and held Hal at gunpoint. He told Hal to take him to Bill. From Ricky's words, Hal learned the shocking truth. Bill had always blamed Hal for their mother's death. After they threw the monkey down the well years ago, Bill secretly climbed down and tried to get it back. He wanted the monkey's curse to kill Hal too, but all Bill found was the wind-up key. Still, he didn't give up. For the past 25 years, Bill had been sending people all over the place, searching for the monkey. Finally, just 2 weeks ago, Ricky spotted the monkey at a flea market and sold it to Bill. Once Bill got the monkey back, he kept turning the key and causing deaths. But no matter how many people died, Hal was always unharmed, so Bill figured it must be because of the distance. That's why he tricked Hal into returning to town, pretending it was about investigating the monkey. But with so many strange deaths in town, all starting right after Bill got the monkey, Ricky began to suspect something. He thought the monkey must be cursed, so he went to confront Bill and demanded the monkey, but Bill refused. Ricky dug deeper and found out Hal was Bill's twin brother, so he went straight to Hal and told him to get the monkey back. Hal tried to explain that he and Bill hadn't gotten along since they were kids, and Bill probably wouldn't even talk to him. But Ricky didn't believe a word. He forced Hal's son, Petey, to crawl through the doggy door at Bill's house and sneak the monkey out. Hal had no choice but to agree, but before Petey left, he warned him again and again, "Don't turn the key in the monkey's back." Petey promised, but the moment he got inside, he completely forgot. Bill greeted him warmly as his beloved nephew. Once Petey let his guard down, Bill said the monkey looked broken and asked Petey to try turning the key. Bill believed that the monkey always started killing the relatives of whoever turned the key. So if Petey did it, it would strike perfectly. Petey, having no clue of the danger, forgot Hal's warning completely. He twisted the key several times. The monkey's drumsticks fell, and this time, the curse landed on Ricky. Suddenly, Ricky's gun misfired. The bullet shot through the car window and hit a massive wasp nest outside. A swarm of wasps rushed in, crawled into Ricky's mouth, and gave him one of the most bizarre and painful deaths imaginable. Hal instantly realized something terrible had happened inside. He rushed into Bill's house, but it was too late. The monkey had already gone mad from killing too many people. It flung Bill across the room like a rag doll and began swinging its drumsticks wildly. With the final strike, a plane crashed right outside the window. As the monkey raised its drumsticks again, the ceiling suddenly collapsed. Dead passengers from the crash came raining down into the house. The monkey had become a full-on killing machine, no different from the Bill who had used it to kill others. Hal rushed in and grabbed Bill, screaming, "Why are you doing this? Why are you killing people?" Bill finally broke down. He admitted everything. He hated Hal for killing their mother, but that was Hal's mom too, and Hal didn't mean to cause her death. After some heartfelt words from Hal, Bill finally let go of his anger and forgave Hal for what had happened years ago. But just when Hal thought everything was finally over, the monkey swung its drumsticks again. A hidden trap Bill had installed in the house was triggered. It shot straight at Bill's head and blew it clean off. Hal looked closer and realized the thing that killed Bill was none other than the same bowling ball he once dreamed of using to kill his brother. In that moment, Hal understood. Maybe it wasn't the monkey doing the killing. Maybe it was the evil inside people's hearts. Still, Hal took the monkey with him. By now, the entire town had become a living hell. As Hal left, he even saw an old man riding a white horse. From the sorrowful look in the man's eyes, Hal guessed he must be the Pale Rider. And after all the extra work Hal and Bill had given him, Hal really did owe him an apology.